Let's get right into the headlines. Some big news in the world of politics. Today, President Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, was sentenced to 3 years in prison after being convicted of tax fraud, campaign finance violations and lying to Congress, or as it's more commonly known, the Trump trifecta. All three. Now, at least Cohen will have plenty of friends there. He'll be in the prison's newly dedicated Trump administration wing. It'll be him, Paul Manafort, about 20 other guys to be named later. They're going to have a blast. They really are. Now, at the sentencing today, Cohen told the judge that he felt it was his duty to cover up Trump's dirty deeds, to which I would add, not well. While on this topic, during a recent interview, Donald Trump was asked if he's concerned about being impeached, and he had this to say. He said, "I'm not concerned, no. I think the people would revolt if that happened." Honestly, I think the people are pretty revolted right now, aren't we? We're already... Now, Trump's... Trump says he's not concerned about being impeached, which sounds like someone who is very concerned about being impeached. When someone says, "I never think about my old girlfriend from high school," that person is scrolling through that Instagram every single night. In the same interview, when asked about all his former staffers who've been charged with crimes as part of the Russia investigation, Trump responded by saying, "The stuff you're talking about is peanut stuff." Peanut stuff, as in meet your new cellmate. His name's Dave, but we call him Peanut. The president's calling it peanut stuff. I think what Trump meant was lying to Congress. That's peanut stuff compared to all the crimes I've been committing. Moving on, according to a new study, 77% of people surveyed said they would rather go without alcohol for a year than quit using Amazon. And almost half would go as far as to give up sex. Now, what in the world are you people ordering? Seriously. They give up getting drunk. Now, here's my question. How else are you supposed to shop on Amazon? If not drunk? I can't believe this. People would rather have Amazon than alcohol or sex. And soon, poor Michael Cohen has to give up all three. People have such different priorities these days. Apparently, most people would give up being in the prime of their life to be in the Amazon prime of their life. And finally, a chocolate factory in Germany recently experienced a storage tank malfunction that resulted in chocolate. Well, have a look for yourself. Look at this. That's 1 ton of chocolate spilled onto the street, and the cool weather caused the chocolate to immediately solidify on the pavement, where it had to be removed by firefighters. People are calling this an industrial accident. I call it a Christmas miracle. I do. I mean, that's got to be a pretty fun day for the firefighters, though, right? You're sliding down the pole, grabbing their helmets and jackets, their graham crackers, their marshmallows, Fondo skewers, a few walnuts, you know. And this is true. It took 20 firefighters labouring for hours to pry the chocolate off the pavement. I mean, wouldn't it have been easier just to put up this sign?